Power Slam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone, and we are here for episode 630 of the Pancakes and Power Slam show. I'm live and in living color, getting funky like a monkey, if you will. You know, the funny thing about me just doing that is this. So, being an adult male for a while now, but also watching Akeem in the late 80s and early 90s, and the very fact that Slick came out with them and he was doing like this, as whatever Vince McMahon wanted to portray that to be, it could have been I mean, with all the Vince McMahon stuff that's allegedly coming out now, who knows what? I mean, Saba Simba was just a few years after that. But I will say this, though. Akeem was money, ladies and gentlemen. I was a big fan. I couldn't stand him back then because he was a heel, and I grew up like, just like mostly every other wrestling fan, and I thought the heels needed to be destroyed, and I thought the baby faces needed to triumph, just like every other comic book. You know what I mean? That's what I enjoyed. But in hindsight, though, Akeem was that deal. Akeem, the African Dream, was that deal. I remember when he was One Man Gang, even before that, and after now, of course. But man, I tell you, Akeem, the African Dream, was that guy. And he would come out to Jive So Bro, and Jive So Bro by Slick was an amazing theme song. And what an absolute leap of character when it came to Akeem. But I got to give it to One Man Gang, man. He absolutely nailed that character. He nailed it, and he did a wonderful job. And he would come out and do his little he would dance too, and it was money, man. It was absolute money. So you got to give it up for One Man Gang for doing his thing there. And I wonder why he's not been inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame. If there's one person that should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, it absolutely should be One Man Gang, man. Absolutely One Man Gang. So, all right, PNP Nation, we're going to talk about it as we do the format every single week. We got a family atmosphere here, family environment, the most respectful, the most coolest family chill vibe chat room in the business, and we do a wonderful job keeping that, respecting each other. And then, of course, if you want your comment on the screen, we're hashtag Ask Doc. And, of course, get your questions ready, and I'll address that after my initial discussion, which that's how we do it at Pancakes Power Slams. And today we're going to talk about the riskiest WWE draft pick. I went through the list of the WWE draft picks. I have the list as far as especially the people who were on television, but I did see the people, I saw the people that were drafted non-televised too, that was drafted online. And there was one person who got drafted to SmackDown. And I said, man, this is going to be no good. This is going to be no good. And I think this person, this is very unfortunate to me. This is very, very unfortunate to me that I don't see this person lasting long in the WWE. I would be surprised And mark my word, and this is very unfortunate because I don't want to see anyone lose their job and the money that comes with being a WWE, you know, wrestler. But I I see this person leaving within the year, man. I do. I don't not leaving, but probably getting let go within a year, especially if someone like a Cameron Grimes and Xia Li, who they've tried many times to make relevant, and the other list of names that they released. I unfortunately can see this person joining them sooner than later, and that person I'm referring to is none other than Apollo Crews. I see Apollo Crews being let go, man. I don't. And for those who've been following PNP for any time over 2 years, one of the names one of the names who I used to always defend on PNP was Apollo Crews about 4 or 5 years ago. And I would always defend Apollo Crews, always, because I saw so much potential in him. I saw so much money in him. And the way that the WWE has booked him has been absolutely lousy, one. And two, a very gross underutilization of his potential. No, he doesn't have a strong character. I think the Nigerian, character, the kind of prince character was pretty good. It worked. It worked so much that he ended up winning the Intercontinental Championship against Big E at a WrestleMania. So he had a WrestleMania moment there, won a title. That was good. It worked. But they dropped that, made him a babyface again. I like babyface Apollo Crews. I liked Apollo Crews going back to NXT. All of those made sense, but it didn't mean anything because he ended up being a job guy in there too. Had a couple wins as far as I remember, and then eventually going right back to losing most of his matches. And when I was live at Raw, they taped main events before Raw, and he lost again to Ivar. So I don't see a pick from Apollo Crews, a pick at all in this draft of Apollo Crews. I'm sorry, man, but I just don't see any type of positive future for someone like an Apollo Crews. And again, this is coming from a guy who was very, very supportive of Apollo Crews. I just don't see it. Not in him, but in the actual booking. Now, to be honest with you, man, it is difficult to book a babyface Apollo Crews. It is. Unless you put him in a tag team. I think they try to do him and Cedric for a little bit. But unless you put him in a tag team, I just don't see where babyface Apollo Crews would make any type of dent or impression in the main roster. NXT worked. NXT was for Apollo Crews. I don't know why they took him away from NXT. They put him. The first time they took him off NXT, they put him on Raw. Didn't work. And then he won a US title. That was okay. But at the same time, they didn't do anything with that. Then he started to flounder. And then they did the African gimmick that worked. And then it ran its course. He floundered again. They put him on NXT, had a little bit of something, floundered again. Now they're putting him on SmackDown as if that's going to change anything. Unfortunately, Apollo Crews doesn't have a strong character. His promo work isn't very strong. So unfortunately, I as far as a future in the WWE for Apollo Crews, man, unfortunately, I just don't see it. I don't see how it would work. I don't see how you can insert him into a relevant feud. Uh, the mid card champion is Logan Paul right now. I don't see how that will work. Maybe you put him in the Pride. Maybe so you have four babyface men's wrestlers and you have BFAB. But right now, so the Final Testament and the LWO went over to Raw. SmackDown's who the Legado del Fantasma. I think that they're still okay. So they're still on SmackDown. So they only have what, 3 people? So you kind of messed up with putting Carlito, and that was weird as crap too. Carlito turns on Ray and Dragon Lee, but still gets drafted as a member of the LWO. Confusing. Absolutely confusing. Because if Carlito would have joined Legado del Fantasma, you would have had now 4 people, and then you could have branched that off to a feud between Legado del Fantasma and the Pride. And then, of course, the Pride wins that feud. And again, like I said before, I do think that I talked about this on Twitter. I think that Bobby Lashley should be the person who dethrones Logan Paul. I just think it makes sense. I mean, what else you want to do? Just continue to have him be in just pointless feuds? Absolute money on the table that you're wasting, that you're not capitalizing on whatsoever. It would make sense for right now. You have the Pride as a 3-person group, and then you can have Logan Paul and Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, who were collabing before, and so you can bring them back as a unit. All 3 of them are champions. Perfect. Go against the Pride. SummerSlam could be Lashley, Logan Paul, and Street Profits, and Waller and Theory, A-Town Down Under. You can have them have a screwy win now, and you can build up that feud. That would be cool. And you can even throw a 4th person in there if you want to have Apollo Crews join the Pride. You can have a random mid-carder right now who's not really doing anything, that kind of has like a jock feel. I'm sure there's someone back there. Matter of fact, let me look at the hold on, my remote. Let me look at my list of draft picks here. Someone who can join Logan Paul and A-Town Down Under based on the draft picks could be so as far as SmackDown, Kevin Owens went, the Pride, Tiffany Stratton, who else went? Legado del Fantasma, Shinsuke Nakamura, who else went? Naomi, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, Pretty Deadly. No, you don't want that. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, Blair Davenport, DIY. So none of those people would make sense to be with Waller and Theory and Logan Paul. I'm sure that there's somebody else. But so here's the thing. My point in all this is I'm trying my best to make Apollo Crews relevant. This is precisely why there's a problem here, because I'm trying my best to insert, like if I was a booker, trying my best to insert Apollo Crews in something halfway relevant. I'm like, okay, let's just throw him in the Pride. And let me see who Who can be a part of Logan Paul and A-Town Down Under? I don't know. Who can? No, like, I mean, that's the problem there. And I think it's a huge issue. Um, no, Andrade wouldn't work. Corbin, huh? Because Braun Breaker's on Raw, so they won't be teaming anymore. Corbin may work. Corbin may work if he joined A-Town Down Under and Logan Paul. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Because they can be a unit, and then the Pride can be a unit with Apollo Crews there, and then you can go Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin. You can build that up if it made, if the story was good enough. But I mean, okay, I mean, but still, it's still an issue, man. Unfortunately, and it's sad to say, and I really like Apollo Crews. Unless he had another huge overhaul of a character, which I think that was kind of lightning in the bottle. It worked, but if you try to bring that back, I'm not positive that would work. I'm not. If you do the whole thing again like you did a few years ago, Dabba-Kato is gone, so he doesn't have that heavy. Who's we're gonna do? Bring Omos as this heavy now instead of Dabba-Kato, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. And then MVP is the voice. MVP is the mic person, the manager. I wouldn't be. That actually wouldn't surprise me if he brought Omos as the heavy of Apollo Crews with MVP as the mic guy, the stick man. But are you going to recreate the African gimmick with Apollo Crews? It was really gimmicky. It was way too gimmicky for MVP to be the manager of. Again, man, I tried. I tried. I don't see it. SK Nation, of course, ask Doc, where do you see a potential place to put Apollo Crews? Otherwise, he's just going to be on SmackDown losing to random people like he does all the time. I mean, he randomly lost to Andrade out of nowhere. I mean, like, it just, where do you put him, man? If you don't have anywhere to put him, why is he there? Why is he there? I think he'd be really good in ROH. I think he would be, based on his style, I think he would be really interesting addition to New Japan. That would be an interesting thing, addition for him to be in. I think he would probably soar really well in New Japan because it's not too gimmicky. Like the characters really matter in New Japan, but it's not about like promos and sports entertainment. It's like characters and gimmicks, but pro wrestling. Like gimmicks really mean something, but it's not from a campy style type of sports entertainment type of vein. So New Japan would be cool for him. AEW, he'll just be lost with all the other shiny new toys. So I'm not the guy who usually recommend people go to AEW and soar, because I don't think that would do it. TNA though, that might work too. But as far as WWE is concerned, unfortunately, I don't see it, man. Sad. It's sad because I like him. But I do think he is the riskiest WWE draft pick because people coming up from NXT do not have a really good track record of being successful across the board. So that's a problem. And two, he's had so many start-stop pushes over his career. What the heck is he going to do now that's going to keep him maintaining a reasonable push on SmackDown? Otherwise, he's just going to job out to everybody because that's what he's been doing for a while. So sad to say. Sad to say, man. All right, you know what time it is. It is time time for the question cam. Right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Ask Doc is the way to go. That is what you do. That is the hashtag that you use. All right, let's start off with the People's Wrestling Channel says that I enjoyed the draft. I love that Blair Davenport got called up, but apart from it, it was boring. Did I enjoy the draft? No. I didn't enjoy the draft. Absolutely not. Enjoy the draft. No way. I didn't enjoy the draft. The only relatively interesting thing about the draft was Braun Strowman coming back on Raw. That was, the part of that was interesting. But how that he was booked was weird because they made Patrick Mahomes look like the heel. That was mad weird, man. I understand the Prime sponsorship and I get all that, man, but it was just super weird to have him in that spot. I know I have People's Wrestling Channel. I know I've said this before, but I was right about Cody. Putting a title on him has changed nothing. He has personality as a pencil. His promos matches are still boring. And that's unfortunate, man, because I'm not the big Cody. I'm not the biggest Cody fan. I've expressed the reason why I'm not the biggest Cody fan, because I do think that he's very one-dimensional in many ways nowadays. And so, but I do think, though, with Cody Rhodes, that he has an opportunity to really show his ability and expand himself as a character. I don't think he's being utilized in that way, unfortunately. I just don't think he is. And I think it's really affecting his luster because he just feels like everybody else now, which is very unfortunate. People's Wrestling Channel, Cody's a non-draw as champion in the draft now means there's going to be no one on SmackDown to make Cody interesting. They need to get the title from him as soon as possible. I mean, I'm not the one to say that. I mean, I think that Cody Rhodes is he's the poster boy for WWE. I mean, that's someone who they're going to use. I'm not the guy that is high on Cody Rhodes because I've explained, before why I'm not, and I'm sticking to that. However, I mean, I understand why they want to make him the poster child. He has the look, he has the ability, he has the pedigree. Okay, I mean, that's what they're going to get. That WWE Av is in the building. That WWE draft was a waste of time, pure trash. Yes, absolutely. Lots of waste of timeness when it comes to the draft. Unfortunately, Elvis, what dream match would you like to see with someone from AEW and someone from WWE? AJ Styles versus MJF or Roman versus Kenny Omega? Again, man, I don't care. Dream match. That term is just so overused. It's so diluted nowadays. Dream match. Let's go. I wouldn't put any of those people in a dream match against each other. I wouldn't put any of those four names in my dream match. So I imagine it's active talent. I would do. Let's do. I'm trying to figure out who is in both. I'm trying to think of who's so Moxley was a champ. He's been in WWE. It's went against all of these people. Jericho was champ, and went against all of these people. Who else was champ? I don't remember. Samoa Joe. He's had feuds or went against all. I mean, as far as WWE, he was in WWE, so he's went against AJ and Roman, I believe, too. Yeah, he was in a match with Roman. Swerve, I wouldn't put him in my dream match. I don't even know who else is like dream matchy material in the AEW. I just don't see it, man. I can't really. So if I had to pick someone, I'll go M. See, I wouldn't put him in my dream match. I wouldn't put him in my. Let me look at the roster real quick. I've got a little bit of time because I just don't, man. I don't see anyone. I can't think of anyone that would make sense to be a dream match. I mean, Bryan Danielson is there. Okay, maybe Ospreay. Again, dream match is so overused. A match that I would like to see, Ospreay and say someone like see, I really wouldn't like to see that per se. Let's say Ospreay, Seth Rollins. Let's say Will Ospreay, Seth Rollins. There you go. I mean, that's, again, I wouldn't call that a dream match. It's just a match that hasn't happened from what I recall. I mean, maybe in the indies, but I haven't seen it as far as televised. So there you go, man. There you go. Yes, I do. There's a song called Connected that was pretty cool. Tall Black Guy is one of my favorite instrumentalist producers, and he had a song with Zoe. Dragunov would be a good addition to Imperium. Yeah, I think so. I think it would be interesting. I think it would be a good way to break him away and do another banger with Gunther. That would be cool. But well, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. Derek, what was your earliest memory as a wrestling fan, and what drew you towards wrestling in the first place? See, that's the type of questions that I like to see. That's what gets me fired up. Earliest memory as a wrestling fan. My great grandma she's the goat. She's passed away. She's been passed away now for almost 30 years, actually. And she was just amazing. She was tough. She was hard. When my brother and I, which, I mean, I got a lot of my toughness from my great grandma. I mean, I would say most of my toughness from my great grandma. Just no nonsense. Had a cane next to her, in a recliner chair, and she was just all about her business, man. And it was great. So she actually got my brother and I into watching wrestling because my great grandma was an avid wrestling fan. I mean, she would watch everything. And so there was many opportunities for me to just really go off in the deep end. And I got a lot of unfortunate pressure to really, I mean, there was times that I almost started selling drugs, and I had a really, my devotion to Christ is because I have a reason to many ways. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the hood, the impoverished streets in inner city Columbus, Ohio, and just across the street from a crack house, drug infested neighborhood. So I had my fair share of opportunities to go down that road. But my great grandma, she watched wrestling, and that was something that was really riveting to me. I grew up watching sports. I played sports growing up, all through until adults. I played basketball. I played football. I wrestled. I played tennis. I was a part of a championship doubles team in tennis. I played badminton. I played volleyball. I still love sports to this day. I mean, I watch sports all the time, but I played sports all growing up, and soccer too, track, swam. I did everything, and I watched wrestling, and it was so captivating. The characters, the larger than life feel, the faces and the heels, the cheer and the boo. And I was just, we had a floor model television, and my brother and I would sit on the floor, and her chair was behind us, and she would just throw the cane to the TV, and she was like, "Get him!" And she would just, I mean, like it was real to her. And so, yeah, I mean that was what drew me to wrestling. She unfortunately passed away when I was entering high school, and I'll say, that was one of the darkest moments of my life when she passed away. But I say, you know what? I'm going to make something out of this, and I'm going to do it in honor of her. I'm going to keep watching wrestling, and I'm going to do it in honor of her. That's one of the biggest. I mean, the biggest motivator for me watching wrestling right now is that I get paid to watch it. I mean, so she would be very proud of me for literally getting paid to watch and talk about wrestling. One, and two, I definitely wouldn't watch it as much as I do if I wasn't getting paid to do it. But if I still watched it, it would be because of her. I would still probably watch it in spurts, not keep up with it weekly, but I would still keep that legacy going, and probably watch WrestleManias and keep up with the product. But yeah, I mean, I imagine she's very proud of me for maintaining watching wrestling. I never stopped watching wrestling. I started watching wrestling around 85, 86, 85-ish. And I've never stopped watching wrestling. A lot of people leave and come back for a time or two, but I've never stopped watching wrestling for nearly 40 years. I've never stopped ever since I was a little bitty kid, and in front of the television, never stopped watching wrestling ever. So I imagine she would be very proud of me for doing that. Greg, what's up, my man? You're in the building. Elvis, what do you think WWE should do with Braun? Could we see a Braun versus Braun? Again, man. I don't know. Sure. Yeah, Braun versus Braun. Yeah, sure. Him as a babyface works. Ricochet's still on there. You have the option to make him a tag, team. I mean, you can always do Braun Gunther again. You can always do Bronson Reed winning the Intercontinental Championship, and you're doing a Braun Bronson thing. That's a possibility. There's a few possibilities, but yeah. Elvis is asking, why didn't anyone draft Omos? Because he's no Moss. Come on. He's probably still a free agent. He's still free agenting, I suppose. Yeah. Av is saying, yeah, I see him and your boy Cedric and the guy from Hit Row too. Yeah, Shanti the Adonis. Yeah, I don't see him having a long shelf life either. Axe Doc is the where to go. I think Logan got drafted to Raw now. No, he didn't. He's on SmackDown still because it's the clause was the champions were protected. So Logan he's a U.S. champion on SmackDown, so he's protected. I see Jay Face and Logan probably getting that title now. He's protected. He is on SmackDown. Action Bronson could work. Action Bron. Do I know who that is? I don't. Is that an NXT guy? I don't watch NXT. I don't know. Don't know. Action Bronson. Isn't that a rapper? Or are you trying to say actually? I don't know. What's up, Rollin? What's up, Dr. Chris? Who is the best pro wrestler right now in terms of in-ring abilities, and who is the best pro wrestler right now in terms of being the most over in the pro wrestling industry? That's a good question. In-ring abilities, I would say the best in the world wrestling wise, Will Ospreay. I would say I'm going to put Ospreay over there with that. He's incredible in the ring. Being the most over. Currently the most over wrestler. I mean, it's hard not to say Roman Reigns. It's hard not to, I mean, I think Roman's the most over. Of course you can put The Rock there, this year, but he's gone now. But yeah, I mean, it would be difficult. It would be hard not to say Roman Reigns with that. Derek, do I see Logan Paul main event at WrestleMania anytime soon? I think he's ready and capable. No. The Saudi was a good tester, and it was cool. His match with Roman was cool. Just not, anything worth really getting into. I mean, no. He still has that celebrity rub to him, but I think he's doing some really good work, man. I really respect the grind for Logan Paul. Kudos to Logan Paul, man, for someone who was a YouTuber, came in, wrestling fan. I mean, he looks better than most of the roster in the back, and he's only been wrestling for a few years. Ricky says, "Where's almost gone?" I mean, he's one of those people, free agent, will pick you up when we want to. Benjamin, what's up? Oof, late. Friend of mine passed away today. Has me off. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. It's such a blessing for you to join us to get your mind off of just the dealing with that for just a moment. Just to suspend your emotions for just a moment. So I definitely pray for the family and friends of your friend who passed. Benjamin, AEW couldn't even feature their own champion properly last Wednesday. I don't have faith with them helping any former WWE guys right now. Yeah, and I saw, was it Collision? You started with Swerve. I saw the numbers. I didn't see Collision. Actually, it's funny because my wife and I went to a restaurant Saturday night, and Collision was on. So I saw as I was walking in, they were showing, it was the Acclaim versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, and they were showing Collision at the restaurant, and I didn't even care to see it. I saw it. I mean, I went in the restaurant, saw that they were showing Grizzled Young Veterans against the Acclaim. Don't know who won. Don't know what happened. I saw probably 30 seconds and walked over to the table, and that's that's all I saw. But while I did see the numbers, I do pay attention to ratings. I did see that they were about 1.39 or something like that. It was about almost 1.4 to start off Collision with Swerve. Kind of they're doing the Swerve thing as far as like kind of a recognition. And then I think it went all the way down to like 400 and something thousand. So like 440 something. So they lost like nearly 1 million views, like 900,000 something views in 2 hours. And so, yikes. People just don't really get into it, man. Unfortunately. Michael says Solo will probably pin Owens because of all the heat about his losing streak. Yep. I think that's a good way to put pin Owens. I think that's a good idea. All right. Y'all ain't gonna take me overtime again. So this is the reason why I'm about to get some super chats and do these because this is great. There's so many good questions here. What's all about doing NXT? I'm cool with it. I mean, he's not gonna. He's by himself now. He's really by himself now because Ray Rowe was injured, and so Sarah Logan was with him, and now she's pregnant. So both of them are gone. So it's just him. So makes sense. They have broken the brand split rules already. Main roster talent NXT. Yeah, I think that the thing is they're supposed to lock it in Monday after this coming pay-per-view. Benjamin, Patrick Mahomes is a heel. You should ban all Chiefs fans from your channel. They need to repent. I think that Patrick Mahomes as a heel on Raw was really, really weird. I mean, he was getting super, super praised. Of course, he's the man in Kansas City, but for some reason they booked him as a heel. I understand the sponsorship stuff, but that still doesn't make it make sense because at the end of the day, you could have easily had Pat Mahomes come in with his 3 rings, pretend to punch Jey Uso, punch Logan Paul, Jey and Pat Mahomes celebrate, even if you want to bring Braun Strowman out there. They celebrate, all 3 of them celebrate in the ring. That's where the picture of your headlines are, man. That's going to cause more people to be interested in the product, which could bump your numbers next week or your YouTube views, and eventually that would bump your sponsor up too, Prime, which is Paul's company. Elvis is asking, do I see Bloodline versus Bloodline Survivor Series? I do. Benjamin said too soon to get up on Cody. He hasn't even had the title month. I agree with that. Ratings are hard to judge now due to NBA stuff. Always wrote this year. We'll see how things go coming up. Yeah, and this is like the lull. This is like a lull moment. Like post Raw, like the May, June, July months, like that. Those 3 months are like the off season of WWE. Like there's not a lot of really big things that happen during the May, June, July season. So yeah, I mean it's kind of like a dead zone, when people have the titles at that time. If you just win the title, like same thing happened with Drew. I mean, he was just going against a bunch of people. It was during COVID too. It was in the Thunderdome. He's feuding with Bobby Lashley for a moment. He was feuding with Randy Orton for a while. It was kind of like a dead zone, man. And same with Daniel Bryan. Was it? Yeah, when Daniel Bryan won, man, it was kind of a dead zone. It just when he won the title, and just that's just kind of like a dead zone for pro wrestling. It doesn't have to be though. It doesn't have to be. Like Vince, he said it really interesting. Like when he was writing, like that was never the thing. That was never something. Like it wasn't. They weren't just kind of phoning it in May or June or July because it's kind of an off season for pro wrestling. They weren't phoning it in. They were building up, stuff. They were building up stories and stuff like that. They were still making riveting weekly television. But for a number of years now, man, it's felt like they just kind of cash it in and just kind of rest a little bit on the during the summer months. Pick it back up probably mid-July, early July, leading into SummerSlam. It used to be more early August, late July, early August, but now since SummerSlam has been earlier now, they pick it back up toward like the end of the midsummer, so maybe they'll do that. But I mean, Backlash shows you that they're not really going to spend a lot of time making Cody Rhodes relevant, which is unfortunate because you're finishing the story. And then you're going to just go ahead and have an irrelevant feud again. Michael, funny how the WWE forgot about their concussion protocol, letting JD McDonough wrestle after sporting a big bruise after being hit with the ring. So great point. Great point. James, the draft may have been bad, but at least Raw got all 10 members of LWO, and Carlito made no sense going with them. Made no sense at all. And there was 14 members of LWO. Made no sense at all. Final Boss Engage, what's up? Welcome to the PNP chat. Welcome to the PNP Nation, the fam. I think Bobby Lashley versus Cody works, and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes. I can see that match happening quickly too, like SummerSlam. If they actually wrote. Well, Lashley Cody could work. I don't. Bobby Lashley just doesn't work as a heel. If he's a babyface, I'm all for it. Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, I can see that happening probably at a Saudi event, like a King and Queen in the ring. I can see that happening. That wouldn't surprise me at all if it was Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes. I actually said that I think that one of the Cody Rhodes is, I've said this before, I think one of Cody Rhodes' opponents on SmackDown would be Logan Paul, just because they want that quick heat with him. And so I think that they'll do that. But I do think it should be Bobby Lashley and Logan Paul at SummerSlam. That would be my prediction. Benjamin is saying AW has some guys I would love to see in WWE. Ospreay, I think, really has something. I love Okada. Not sure any of this is dream match material, though. Agreed. And for many, many years, Kazuchika Okada was in my top 5. I'm still an Okada guy. As far as top 5, I have to think about that. Somebody tweet me, ask me that, so I can spend some time to think about it. I don't even know what my top 5 is right now. I just don't know. I don't know who my top 5 is. So if I have some time to think about it, yeah, I'm cool with it. How did Dom get injured? They said how he got injured. It was during was it during the WrestleMania match? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it might have been. Ab said, yes, I thank you for putting me on to Tall Black Guy. I listen to him and Zoe and Mr. A lot. Any good female chill hop artists. Nice. Yeah. Good choices. Female chill hop artists. Let me see. I got you real quick. Let me look at my list. I made a long, like almost 4-hour chill hop list. Sarah Nathalie. Sarah Nathalie. There you go. That's a really good one. She's really good. Sarah Nathalie. Nathalie. She's a Christian too. She got some really good Christian music too, but she does chill hop and just instrumentals, and she's really good. So yeah, that's my recommendation for you, Sarah Nathalie. Thanks, Tap Out Talk. Appreciate that. What would you say your top 5? See, there's a list. I can't do lists with the time that I have. Tweet that to me. Top 5 WWE theme songs of all time. Yeah, yours. Okay, I'll read yours. Stone Cold Disturb. That's a good one. Step up, push you to the left. That's probably my favorite Stone Cold theme song. Triple H The Game, Benoit whatever, Big Boss Man 1999 theme, and 5 The Rock 1999 theme. Nice. Yeah, I need some time to think about that. Jericho's theme's always been one of my favorites. Yeah, Stone Cold Disturb one was good too. James, okay. Benjamin, what in wrestling excites you right now? Is there anything you look forward to? That's a good question. What excites me about wrestling now? Getting paid to talk about it. That's what excites me about wrestling right now. I like the bloodline angle, like when Sammy was around. That was good. The Rock from January or February to April, wrestling was cool again to me for a little bit. I was tweeting about it. The Rock coming back actually got me back into tweeting and responding to people's stuff on Twitter. I mean, like before I would get tagged a lot and I would just retweet all the time. But now I'm doing like AMAs. I'm doing some really cool back and forth interaction with people, responding to people asking me questions on Twitter a lot or X. And so, yeah, I mean, that's got me getting back into like the wrestling, conversations and discussions on Twitter. Yeah, so that excited me. Now nothing. I mean, Ospreay and Daniel Bryan was a really good match. But I mean, again, it's a match. I mean, okay, it's a match. That doesn't really wow me. I'll see a good match, say, "Oh, that was amazing," but I'm not having a high or a hangover over Ospreay and Bryan Danielson like so many other wrestling marks were. Final boss engaged because you see The Rock erupting Cody Rhodes, and then we see the return of a face Roman Reigns. I do see Cody Rhodes as a heel would be interesting against a face Roman Reigns. That would be interesting. And even if they did that as like a Cody Reigns 3, that would be interesting at WrestleMania. But now Roman is the babyface. I wonder how you could book that. James, something I've noticed over the past few months is Gable uses the diving headbutt quite often in this match. Do you think the move should be banned given out how dangerous the move is? I wouldn't say banned. I think he's grown to know how to execute it better. But I did hear it was pretty dangerous, so I think he should scale back on it, though. Elvis, where does this Drew versus CM Punk feud go, and what's the point of it? I'm not looking forward to it because Punk will win. I think you said we all know. To Benjamin's question, I actually like Drew Punk feud. I actually like that too. I think Drew's money. Drew is just an absolute. Like he's at his prime, right before WrestleMania. I think it was weird to only have him have 5 minutes. Okay, sure, whatever. But I think Drew McIntyre is like prime right now. That is something else that is causing me to, and like I get excited about like Drew's promos and stuff like that. I think he's absolute money. I think Drew should be Punk at SummerSlam. I think start to shake things up more. Have people think that Punk is going to beat Drew at SummerSlam? No, have Drew beat Punk, and then you can continue the feud and have Punk, do the payoff match, probably at a Royal Rumble or SummerSlam or Survivor Series or something like that. The Titans get anyone good on the draft? We got a linebacker. I haven't seen the first round. That's what we got, but I don't recall. I haven't seen the draft list of who else we got. Michael, Vice is in a 4-part documentary from the producer of Dark Side Who Killed WCW. Yeah, I saw the trailer of that. Vince Russo, bro, he's in it. It'll be interesting for us to talk about when that gets released in early June. So about a few more weeks from now. Benjamin Dynamite, they had Swerve just in a mid-card match with Fletcher. Super weird. Yeah. No promo, no advertisement for a celebration on Collision. It was embarrassing. Like he didn't even have the time. And stuff like that is just absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. He's like the token celebration first black, right? Like that's what they did. They did that. First black AEW champion. Okay, sure. But make it feel like that. I mean, he definitely didn't feel like it. It's horrible. Collision, he was handled better, but AEW needs a lot of changes. I agree. That not on D. McDonough's head. Yeah, it was makeup. Speaking of Logan Paul, did you see that JD's faced on the main event? I wouldn't be surprised if he has a concussion. Nah, it was definitely you all bought it hook, line, and sinker. It was cosmetically enhanced there. Ab said, I hope this bloodline story doesn't turn into the long NWO story where we had NWO Hollywood versus Wolfpack. Oh, that would be horrible. Final boss engaged. If you don't Got a top 5. I know a guy who does ratings. Bill Apter. Of course he does. My guy. Chelsea Green is facing Roxanne for the title next week. Really? That's odd. Gosh, horrible. James, did you see the? Did the clip? Maybe did you see the clip during night one of the draft on SmackDown when Triple H announced Seth as the pick for Raw? Faneuil, Chris Benoit, and Triple H did a little smirk. Why they feel they need to do that? They want attention. People love attention. Benjamin, The Rock coming back got me to come back as well, just like back in 2011 or whatever it was. He's just that guy for me in the way Stone Cold never was. I mean, I can respect that. Like, he's a charisma magnet, man. It's a fun of boss. He did a fantastic job during the season, WrestleMania season. He was amazing. James, I might. Why would the Dan do that just to be a troll? He can't be that clueless or not know. The fan, I don't think you mean the fan. Yeah, it's, there's many wrestling fans that are trolls. So, all right, y'all. Fun time as always. I got through them about 20-minute, real quick. We're gonna do an after party for about 20 minutes. We're gonna watch a little bit more of CWA and chat like we did last week. Probably watch about 15 minutes of it, and we're gonna probably do that in a few weeks. We're gonna get through it. But thank you so much for your support on Patreon. Just man, less than $1 a week for your support for me staying up all night and doing this after this show makes me have like a 16 and a half hour day. So, but I do it for you. I know that y'all are late nights wrestling chatters, and I love doing this for you, and I appreciate the support that you give me back by one, being a patron, just $3.99 a month, less than $1 a week, patreon.com/pancakes and Papa Sam's. And if you want to hop on for the after party, I have about a 20 or so, sometimes more. We go by a little further after party afterwards. Depends on what time I leave here, but it's usually an after party, 20, 30 minutes. We went longer, but I think about 20 this time, 20 today. But we'll do that, and we have fun every single week. It's all the patrons who hop on. We have a really good time. More questions they ask me. I know a lot about the wrestling business. I know a lot of people inside the wrestling business that I've heard things about, so I talk about that stuff there too. So again, less than $1 a week, patreon.com/pancakes and Power Slam. So that's how you can help this channel, and you can also help by liking it, sharing, subscribing, and leaving a comment on the video. As soon as you get off here, go leave a comment, support your boy, and support PNP by doing those things. All right. God bless you all. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.